So we're going to have a look at a strong grip, and if you're a player who's got a strong grip, how can you make a strong grip work for your game? Is it something you're predisposed to have? And we now need to have a look at how you can make that work for your game and have the control of the golf ball like some of the very best players in the game. So we've seen lots of strong grip players over the years. Now, are you predisposed to have a strong grip? That's the first thing we've got to look at. So when we're talking about having a strong grip, it's where your arms are hanging at address. So lots of people, you see, if you've just got your arms casually by your side here, that your thumbs are going to be slightly turned inwards. So my arms are slightly inwards here, so if I bring the arms forward, I'm just going to have a grip strength that's something aligned to where my hands are pointed, where I'm just stood fairly casually. So a lot of players will be predisposed to have a stronger grip. Now, if we have a look at our history, we've got Dustin Johnson, we've got David Duval, we've got Bernard Langer, Paul Azinger. All these people have got strong grips, varying degrees. Some are really strong, some are just a little bit on the strong side. But the commonality they've all got is they've all played with a fade. So it's not necessarily that a strong grip's going to turn you into somebody who hooks the golf ball. So what we're going to have a look at is how can you learn to play with a stronger grip, okay? What is it that you need to have that makes this grip functional on the golf course? It gives you amazing control of the ball. Don't forget, some of these players we just mentioned there have all been world number ones and they've all won major championships. So if it's working for those who've been some of them have been the very best players of their generations, surely it can work for your game. So we're going to have a look at how it works, and then lastly, if you struggle with the two patterns of ball flight I commonly see when you've got a grip that's too strong, what are the bits in your swing you need to put in place to allow you to make that grip work for you? So first of all, if you have this strong grip, don't fight it. This is part of your own individual DNA. This is what you do. So you need to make sure that you have the components in place that allow this to work for your game. Now, having a strong grip, okay, doesn't mean that the right hand's always going to be very strong, but we're mainly talking about the left hand grip being a lot stronger. What we tend to get is a club face in the backswing that's going to be more closed, that's looking more at the sky, okay? And it's not a problem to have this, okay, as long as you are going to have it so that your path is aligned, and you can play a fade, you can play a draw, but you need to make sure you've got everything lined up to what that club face is doing. Like I said, those other players before all play a fade, okay? So it's not a problem, and they've got amazing control of their ball flight. I'm sure they can hit draws whenever they want, but that was their predominant shape they like to see. Now, making sure that you are doing the bits for your game to make this work are going to be key. We know that there's problems in there that are associated to ball flights that we'll see. The ball flight problems will be people don't get the ball up in the air enough, or they have a left miss, and they always think, oh, it's going to be my grip, I've got to change it. But what you're doing is you could be going against a predisposition you've got to have a strong grip, and what you need to do is have a look at the bits in your swing that are going to make this work for you, and that's got to be key, is making that golf swing work for you and your body type. One of the things that I often see is that when people have got a stronger grip, is that you don't want ever to get your arms behind your body. If your arms get behind your body, i.e. they're too flat right here, then on the way through, your path is always going to be too far inside out. That's going to be so difficult to play with when you've got a strong grip, okay? You don't really want to have a massively into-out path, because that's going to make it really difficult to get that ball to start on line. What you really want to make sure is that those arms are getting balance to your body, so they're a little bit more sat up in front of your torso here. I think, you know, DJ's got really quite an upright backswing. You looked at Duval, he had his arms sat on top of his shoulders at the top. These guys, I'm not saying they're swinging it really upright, but their arms are always in front of their body. So when we're talking about that, from this view right here, we're going to see that you've got this width that the arms are away from you. Okay, and then from down the line, the reference point will be that the left arm is at least on the level of the shoulders, or maybe even just above it. But what we're then going to look at in a minute is have a look at the ball flights that I see the problems with, okay, which I've just said is having the hook and struggling to get the ball up in the air enough, okay, and have a look at the simple solutions that you can put in place. That means you can still play with the grip that you've got, but have great control of the golf ball at the same time. So first one is ball starting to the left. The problem when the ball's obviously starting to the left is you're going to straight away associate the start line to what the club face is doing, because, you know, natural thing is we know that the ball starts off where the club face is pointing 90% of the time, okay? So if that's something you're struggling with. Now, what we don't want to do is we don't want to change that grip, but we want to get the club face to be delivered a little bit more open. So first thing we're going to do is in that backswing, add a little bit of forearm rotation, Okay, so not trying to keep the right hand on top because that will close the face too much here, but adding a little bit of forearm rotation with the left arm, which will ordinarily, for a weak grip player, would be a disaster because it'll open the club face too much. But it'll start to balance that club face a little bit more. Yes, it'll still be a little bit closed at the top, but nowhere near as closed as it was. Now, this is also a great fit if you really struggle getting that ball up in the air a lot. You know, if you've got a really low ball flight, adding the loft or feeling like you're adding the loft in the backswing is a fantastic solution, okay, because it's not going to add any manipulation in, because we know that once that left arm is rotated in the backswing, as you open up on the way down, as the shoulders are opening, that left arm is pulled back into the rib cage, so it'll square itself up automatically. So it's not like you're putting a manipulation into your swing, but you're adding a bit more loft, which raises that ball flight. The other one we'd look at is, have a look at all of these players, okay, and they're all really open with the body at impact. They do an amazing job of it, okay. You know, Duval was known for being so open, his head was looking at the target at impact. DJ's always very, very open. So this is a really key thing for you, okay. What it's going to do is, we spoke before about those arms being more up on the body, that's going to be key. Then from here, it's getting the body to be more open with the arms in front, okay. So they've stayed in front from that backswing, but the more open you can get at impact here, it means that you can play with this strong grip here, but you're going to hit it with a more bent right elbow and hit it with some shaft lean, okay? That's why some of these guys like a DJ can have a really strong grip and he's got so much speed that he can almost deliver very low loft, which means he's got so much speed that's going to help with the spin, keep it up in the air naturally. He can launch it so low compared to us guys, and they can keep it up in the air. But the more open you can get the body, the more speed you'll generate, but also the more consistency you'll get from that club face, because you're not going to have to worry about trying to square that face. All you've got to do is turn through and try and feel like the bend is being maintained in that right elbow. So we've got that strong grip here, slightly closed at the top, but then on the way down, the more open I can get the body, the club face is going to be square every time. And if I can get even more open, I mean, I can shift my path to the left and I can play with that slightly strong club face. The ball's going to start left and give me that functional pattern that I'm looking for. And it's also going to give me the power. So the easy solutions there are, number one, forearm rotation if you struggle with height and you struggle with the left miss. And number two, making sure you get more open. And the most important of all is make sure that your arms are always sat on top of your body. That's not necessarily a fix, that's just something that you've got to be aware of, that you must do for the strong grip. Really hope you've enjoyed this, guys. We've done a couple of things here on strong grips and weak grips. Is there any other parts in the golf swing that you see people playing with and you think lots of good players do this, but why? How can I make this work for my game? If it is, comment below. Is it something you want to know more about? If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. Thanks for watching and talk to you again very soon.